Hello, and welcome to Aftershock Online. I'm very excited to be here today with my guest, Eddie Hantas with Hummus Xpress. Just a quick background on Eddie. I've known him a long time. He is originally from Lebanon, and he played professional basketball before he came over here, and that's about the time I met him. I met him when I was working for a health club, doing a lot of outside lead generation, and he was running a pizza shop, and went on to start his own called Eddie's Pizza Lounge, which is a fun place. But then after that, he decided to go to culinary school and to find out how he could cook basically food that he grew up on, and he started a business about 5 years ago?
2012.
Hummus Xpress. So Eddie, thanks for being on.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you. Tell me a little bit about Hummus Xpress.
Hummus Xpress was conceived in 2012 after doing some research on the market and seeing that there is a lack of fast, healthy, delicious soul Mediterranean food, really simply prepared. And started it by looking around for real estate in different areas. I wanted something that didn't cost a lot of money to get into, like an older plaza, which what we found on Broadway and Hardy. And we just got in and made it a Chipotle-style restaurant where you could come in and order your food in a fast casual manner, and you'll be done within 2 minutes. And created a really good menu that I was really connected to, because literally I grew up eating eggplants and hummus and zucchinis and grilled chicken, and that's the menu I went with. And it was difficult in the beginning, but it was the right thing to do, because that's really what I wanted, something I really love to eat. And because we started at a high standard where we really did something, there was a lot of ingredients, a lot of menu items. It was hard in the beginning, but it was the right thing to do. It became a hit, and we basically start cruising after the first year.
Awesome,
and
yeah.
Never really lost any money or anything. It was always in the plus.
It's fantastic. And, I remember, and I'll kind of take you back to when we reconnected. It was a little over 2 years ago, and I had reached out to you on Facebook about something. And you're like, oh, I have Hummus Xpress. And I had no idea that it was as close as it was. I'm like, well, I'll just come down there and try it out.
Yeah.
And then that started an addiction for me, because I think I went there literally 20 times over the next 30 days. I mean, I was in there almost every day.
Yes.
And I still go back there quite frequently, because my office is about 3-4 miles. But what's funny is my office has literally 7 restaurants surrounding it.
Yes.
So it's more of a drive, but it's so worth it. It's fantastic food.
And it's fast.
It is fast. Because, if you go around noon and you see a line pretty much to the door, you're still through the line in usually 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
Through the line, you got your food and eating. So it's tremendous. And I like that. So you started that business. It was going well. And then you got into the food truck game. Like, what gave you the idea to go into food trucks?
I was attending the Vegan Fest. We got invited, and we had a booth, like a table. We had falafels and Mediterranean healthy stuff. And I had a voucher to eat a free meal as a vendor. So I was walking around after I was done, and I saw this really nice food truck. And the owner was sitting outside with his wife, and they looked so like chill. And it just clicked right there. I'm like, you know what? I need a food truck, literally. And that's how I work with business. The idea comes to me, and if it comes to me clearly and I feel like it's going to work, I don't hesitate at all.
Right.
And literally the next month, I looked around and bought a food truck.
That's awesome.
Which was really good for marketing and to get our name out there, and it's been helping a lot.
Awesome. So, it sounds like you've always been pretty good at just coming up with ideas and then executing, because your pizza shop that you had, take me back to that. Like, what made you start your own pizza shop, and really that idea with the lounge?
So the pizza days were funny days. I was young. I was 24. I had not a lot of experience in running a business. I came as an athlete from Lebanon, so I didn't have a lot of really industry experience in anything, really. I was just an athlete. And after I worked at Gus Pizza, which was a really popular place, probably a lot of people heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
I decided to do my own pizza place because that's how I work. I'm an entrepreneur by nature. It's in my DNA to just always do my own thing. and be my own boss and just believe in myself and take my own decisions. So we went into a building that was an existing restaurant, and we got a carry-back deal. The guy wanted 50 grand to get in, and carry the rest back, which was for me something I could do at that time. It wasn't a lot of money. I'd saved a lot of money working 12-hour days, 7 days a week for 5 years. So I had like $65,000. So I literally paid the guy and took over that place. And it was a big place. And I took over the place in March. So ASU was on March break. And at that time, we were next to ASU, like literally a mile away. We were on Apache and Terrace. And ASU was literally a quarter mile away. So it was really slow. And I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, how I'm going to pay all these people and the rent? What did I do? You know how it is.
Yeah, totally.
You take that step and stuff happen. And this Egyptian guy, really great guy I meet, and he was like, hey, why don't you serve hookahs? Like, I don't know nothing about hookah. I never smoked hookah. He said, you have a big place. There's a lot of students. And we start serving hookah, and it did really, really, really well. And we became another hit, and people still talk about this place till today. It's been closed for 7 years. And the idea of pepperoni pizza and hookah, East and West meeting on one table, was amazing for kids. Like, they just loved it, the ASU kids, And once they talk about it, it start rolling, the cash was coming in, and hookah is really a profitable product. It's about $1 to put the coal and the tobacco, and you sell it for $15. So
wow.
So it was really great, and that's really what made me gather some more capital to do other things. Okay. So I took a break. I went back home to reflect and see my family, and I decided to go to culinary school when I got back. I went to SCC to get some proper training in a real kitchen, not just pizza and subs and stuff like that, where you could cook fish, you could cook anything, break a pig, break a cow, in a butcher room. So I learned all that, and it gave me some confidence to do my own menu, and started the Hummus Xpress project in 2012 and opened in the end of 2012.
Oh, fantastic.
It was amazing.
So what are some of the things that you learned in your pizza days and that early entrepreneurial experience that you brought into Hummus Xpress?
It was all people skills, interpersonal skills. Literally what to do when you're about to fire somebody, what to do when you're really feeling like, tired and exhausted, but you still have to show up and deal with people, and just the responsibility and the big rock you're carrying with payroll, marketing, working as a chef, books, meetings. It gave me the support that I needed. So when I did hummus, I had all that in me already from that experience.
You're already battle tested. Right?
Yes, exactly. It's a battle. It's a battle. And when somebody quit on you, and let's say you're ready to go home, you have plans, your girlfriend is waiting for you, and suddenly somebody walk out, you literally feel crushed. And this is when you're really tested. You close your shop because you had plans and say, you know what, I'll deal with it tomorrow. Or you just follow your statement, your mission, whatever value you put in when you first open, and say, I don't close on this day. I have my hours. We're a professional business. I'm staying. And, that's how I was. I always went all the way and never backed out on my standards. And some people might find that hard, That's why when you go into business, expect to do whatever it takes.
Right.
Really, that's my number one rule with business. Are you ready to do whatever it takes? Are you ready to do whatever it takes?
Yeah.
Because losing is not an option.
Is there a particular time in mind that you can think of, and it could be either business, but that was just really challenging, a situation that came up, and then how you handled it, what was the resolve, and what you learned from it?
Oh, the actual hookah became, 2007, a law came in for the no smoking law, because they banned smoking cigarettes and tobacco in all public places. So hookah was left in a gray area, and I guess it was like a traditional thing, so it was left alone, but then they cracked down on it, the cities and the municipalities. So we're actually not allowed to serve hookah, and we were literally 60-70% of our margins were coming from that, So that was really difficult time, and I had to really think outside of the box. So I created a nice outdoor patio with very nice, misting system and trees and nice tables, and start serving hookah outside, and that worked well, and kept going on it. Yeah. That was really stressful to me.
Oh, I'll bet.
And I had the option to go against the city and try to lawyer up, and or just do what I did, which I think was a smart thing to do, because you never want to really spend money on legal battles with your, with the legal system, the city, because they have tons of lawyers.
Right. Yeah,
Tons.
and it's like,
I've seen it happen.
End it now and innovate and figure out another way to do it, or do I fight a battle that even if I win, I lose?
Exactly. It was hard. It was a hard battle.
That's pragmatic thinking. Not a lot of people think about that.
Very stressful time, though, for sure. Because you're talking, people were used to smoking inside. They were happy. They were, we were busy every night, very busy, and to change that. So we did take a little hit, but it was still good. We kept going and still successful.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, now let's get to one of my favorite topics, marketing. And I've seen the things that you've been doing on social media, but tell me, how have you created the awareness and really the culture and brand around Hummus Xpress? Because people love it.
Yeah, the social media, especially Instagram, started by really watching other successful restaurants, literally what they do, who they follow, what comments they leave, just their action on Instagram. Doing a copy in some successful eaters that I respect personally that are successful. And it started slow, we had like a couple hundred followers, and then it grew to like a couple thousand, and pretty much it for Instagram. And as far as the restaurant and the reputation it has, it's just a good product that we serve and the good service. It's really simple. There's no magic to it. You have good food, you have good service. The employees are happy. I make sure I don't fire people for any little reason. I like to give people a lot of chances. That's why my guy's been with me for years.
Yeah.
I hate to make an employee feel insecure about his job, because I've been fired before.
Right.
And
me too.
Between jobs, when I closed the Hook Lounge and opened Hummus, I had to go to school and bring some money in. I wasn't gonna touch my savings. So I was working. I served in restaurants and did some cooking, and I almost felt that if I ever own a business, I would always make sure that people feel secure, and I would be loyal to them. And so people are happy at Hummus. They love that we close on Sunday, for example. Everybody gets a weekend or 2 days or 1 day at least. And I think that's the secret. The guys are comfortable there. And the food is good and the vibe is good. It's a little place, but it's a great vibe. And people we have a lot of love.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned the staff. I can't say that I've seen hardly any turnover from when I started going 2 years ago. It's like the same couple of girls, same couple of guys, always friendly, always got a smile. I actually joined you at one of your kind of appreciation days for employees. That was so much fun.
It was like a party.
Yeah, and everybody was, just it was kind of like a family atmosphere.
Yes.
You could tell they really respected you. They enjoyed the business. They loved the product
Like
that
a
they were
family.
putting out.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's ideal. If you
And
can,
that's part of why, like the expansion.
Yeah.
Like Hummus Express been approached by a few big franchise companies like FanSmart, and like they did Halal Guys and a couple big names. So we've been approached by them to they wanted to help us expand, and
right.
and I'm just not ready to do that, and give control in my own company to others, because you'll have to obey by some rules.
Yeah,
So that's been hard for me to do.
Yeah, let's dig into that a little bit, because I think every successful business owner like yourself that comes up with a restaurant or a product service that's out there in the market, it's doing a great job. There's always going to be that point to okay, I'm ready to expand, or the next step would be expanding, but it's scary because you are giving up some of that control, and you're like, okay, how do I make sure that the food that I serve in restaurant one and on the food trucks taste as good as someone else I give ownership to?
Yes.
So tell me, like, what are your thoughts on expansion? How do you want to make sure that quality is taken in?
I feel when I'm ready, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready currently because my hands are full. We have 2 food trucks that go everywhere in town and spread our name everywhere, and we have a busy restaurant where we do a lot of weddings and catering. It's really, I feel like if you're efficient in your business and you have like financial goals that you're obtaining, you know, why expand if you're reaching your goals and you're just comfortable where you're at?
Right.
And another part of me wants me to spread my cuisine and go and become the next Chipotle, of course, or the next Subway. It's just difficult, I feel. It's difficult with the quality that we have and the experience that we offer. And we're going to have to cut down on that experience a little bit and eliminate some menu items. And that's hard for me to do. I like the effect we have on customers. When they walk in, they leave so happy. And I'm not ready to give that up, but I am thinking about it, and it's something definitely in the horizon for us.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, when the right time arises, and maybe you can spend the time on that, because I know you have a pretty good management team in place as well.
Yes, now I do, finally.
But yeah, you're right. So when I come into Hummus Express and I'm standing in line, I always listen, and it always seems that there's somebody talking about they're bringing a friend. Because I mean, I brought literally probably 20 people to your restaurant.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I mean, and that's what people do. When they love something, they bring people.
Yes, like a hidden gem.
Exactly. And I feel like I always hear those conversations in line, you know, someone saying, oh my God, the gyro is amazing. The braised beef is so good. The eggplant, like that's what my wife talks about, the eggplant, because it is so delicious and it's all fresh. So but I understand what you're saying. Like, you might have to pare some of that down because it's just amazing, all of the options that you get. So yeah, I can understand that balance. But it seems like because of your success and how you've done things in your life, that when the right time comes up, you'll be able to spread that out.
I'm thinking about it, and we might expand pretty soon, actually. So
very cool.
It's going to be great.
Awesome. Well, I'll look forward to supporting you in the future.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. So are there any business books, any podcasts, you know, or even people on social media that you've followed that kind of help with your mentality, or what makes you get up and want to be so successful and do the things you do?
It's just I'm good at it. You know, when you're good at something and it comes naturally to you. I'm very creative in the kitchen, and I really could talk up food. You know, like I could really sell you a plate of food and make you feel like you're eating something great. It's just some broccoli, so I'm just really good at it.
I've had the broccoli; it's pretty good.
I think that's what it is. As far as books, I like novels. I don't like a lot of self-help books and stuff like that. I like to get my brain off the grind and what to do, what not to do type of thing.
So you use
like
books
Ernest
as an escape.
Hemingway.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like older books, and
cool.
I definitely like to do that in my free time.
Awesome. Are there any podcasts or anybody online that you've derived business advice from?
You know, there is a chef here in town that I really respect. She's a vegan chef. She owns 24 Carats.
Okay.
And she's amazing.
I've met her.
Yeah. She's really, she just got awarded the James Beard Award, so she's part of the James Beard thing. And we're in the same organization, Blue Watermelon Project. It's an initiative to end or improve school lunches. Okay. And from a junk food and pizza to something better. So we're part of that together. And she's just amazing, you know. She's somebody I really respect and like to talk to from time to time.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Well, let's go into the takeaways. Tell me 3 things that you'd like our audience to take away from being successful in business or marketing. You know, what are 3 things you'd like people to take away from today?
If you want to open a business, be ready to do whatever it takes.
I love that.
Always pay competitively and just deal with the lack of profit because you'll end up losing more if you don't pay competitively. And always do the right thing and start big with your dream and idealize the idea. And then eventually, once you go into business, that idea that was big and seems unobtainable, it'll trim down on its own to something realistic. But never budge down on the ideal you have. Even though it seems in the beginning so hard, it will trim down on its own.
Okay.
But as long as you have that as your baseline, basically.
Love that. Well, take me through that a little bit, because I mean, obviously, playing professional basketball, you pretty much set goals your entire life, right?
Yes, definitely.
Take me through how you set goals today.
Yeah, I do. I look at things. Okay, so where am I today? Where I want to be in 6 months, let's say, and I do really short-term goals. Where I'm just not thinking too much in general. It's a very specific goal. It's the next 6 months, and I not only go with what is the right way to do this, and I research the right ways. And then I implement those ways to my way of life, my experience, and suddenly it adapts to your ways, and it's really a good product or a good way to do something, and it works.
Can you give me an example of something like that?
Like the food trucks, you know? The food trucks, I'm like, okay, I want to start a food trucks, and I could have got like a cheaper food truck or had a menu that was not as good because like, you have to load, unload, and do a lot of steps to serve 50 people or 20 people.
Right.
However, I decided from the get-go to just look into the opportunity to keep the quality the same, keep the approach the same, and eventually we had our own system that was created, and now it's rolling. It just works.
So, constantly look at what's working and then put your own system in place.
Yes, and don't budge. Don't be like, oh, I don't get afraid by the idea. Oh, this won't work because it's blah blah blah. Do it, and then like while you're doing it, it manifests to something else,
right,
that will work for you.
Have you seen? Has there been an idea like that you're like, okay, I'll try it, and you were just surprised at how well it worked that you can think of, or is it just are you just like that? You just constantly try different things and see what works with.
Yeah, like the idea of some menu items we had on the menu. We had this dish with shakshuka, I think it was, and it was really a dish that I was thinking people might not understand or get, but once we start serving it, it's just
gonna start
because it takes a long time to make and prepare. So
what is it?
It's a Moroccan dish with you have to cook some couscous and steam it, and then cool it, and then next day you have to mix it with other ingredients. So it's like a process, but we ended up finding ways in the kitchen to make it simpler and easier, and it worked.
Wow, I'm looking forward to trying that. I have not tried that.
Yeah, we actually have a shakshuka hummus now, which is like I said, example of how things progress and change, and if you're passionate and you know what you're doing, you always find a place for something and make it happen, make it work.
Awesome. So I would feel bad if I didn't ask this question. What is your favorite food?
I like let's see, I like these new poke bowls.
Poke balls?
Yeah, poke. It's ahi tuna bowl instead of sushi.
Okay.
I make that at home. It's cold, it's refreshing, it's got avocados, ginger, brown rice. It's amazing. But you can't eat it too much because it's raw tuna.
Right.
It's soaked in soy and lemon juice.
Right.
That's my favorite thing to eat, man, in the summer.
It is
especially.
delicious.
It's so light and it's so flavorful, and I love it. I love that kind of food, fish and rice and bright flavors, garlic, ginger. It's not filling. There's no bread, no cheese, no.
Right.
That's my favorite thing to eat.
Poke bowls. Yeah. No, I'm with.
They're famous now. They're popular.
They are. Yeah. I had never even heard of them a couple of years ago. And now there's restaurants that sort of just that.
Yes.
But I don't know how they.
Have you been to one?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love sushi and I love avocado. So when I found out there was a dish that was basically chopped up tuna and avocado and soy and lemon, like you said. So good. I love it, yeah.
Yes, chili stew. You can have it spicy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on today, man. This is a lot of fun.
Yes.
I hope you guys got some good tips and takeaways from someone who's been successful in a very, very difficult business, the food business, and he's done it for a long time. So thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Man.
I appreciate it.